And ladies and gentlemen, finally, former President of India, Mr. Kovind, along with the members of his committee. Ladies and gentlemen, Amit Shah heading that committee, they have submitted the proposal on one nation, one poll. Now, we are told through sources that the basic recommendation here is that one nation, one poll is possible. There are 32 parties which are backing one nation, one poll and 15 parties which are against it. Our own view, I think it's a great idea. It will put the focus back on governance and end the obsession with party politics 24/7. Let's debate.
One nation, one election, India's biggest election reform. A long pending major reform with even the Prime Minister backing it.
चुनाव के समय हिंदुस्तान में हर बार चुनाव चलता रहता है भाई, तो सरकार काम करना बंद कर दे क्या? चुनाव आप एक बार तय कर लीजिए भाई, 5 साल में एक बार ही चुनाव होगा, सब मिलकर के चुनाव लड़ेंगे, सभी राज्यों के साथ होंगे, केंद्र का साथ में होगा, सारा खर्चा भी बच जाएगा.
Now, with an 18,626 page report submitted to the President, one nation, one poll seems one step closer. The 7-member power panel, chaired by former President Kovind. The BJP has welcomed the long-pending move.
The Honourable former President Ram Nath Kovind ji has submitted that report on one nation, one poll. That should be welcomed. There is no scope of criticizing or politicizing. This is something that should be welcomed.
India has had in the past, till 1967, had 4 simultaneous elections. The Congress is one of the 15 parties opposing the move, with 32 parties backing it.
How will it happen is important. It is not possible to have simultaneously all elections together. How will it happen is important. It is not possible to have simultaneously all elections together until and unless you allow minority government to run the state.
The system in place in Sweden and Belgium, 2 nations right at the top of many democracy indexes. The question that arises is, why is the opposition opposing a move with so many benefits? Let's debate.
Since this is a quick 10-minute debate, I'll start with the anti-voices. Akashdeep first.
First of all, this one nation, one poll won't stand in a court of law, because in the Keshavanand Bharti case, clearly it has been stated that in India, the basic structure of the constitution cannot be changed. So presidential form of governance, which has been proposed here, where the state issues will be subsided by the central issues, will not stand in a court of law. It is the parliamentary form of governance. So my second point is that there is, for 5 years, this coalition government, if there is a coalition government, if it falls, then for the next 3 years or 4 years, the minority government will be running the
minority government won't run. Minority government won't run. As per the proposal, Akashdeep, as per the proposal, if a government falls, there can be a fresh election which will choose the election, which will hold the governance. The assembly will run for the remainder of the session. This will actually bring in more.
Sir, give me 5 seconds.
Because you made an incorrect point.
I'm coming to that point. Yes, you are right that it will be running which is called constructive vote of no confidence, which will be ending all anti-defection laws. So, and as speaker is chosen, the opposite party will be cross-voting to the government and forming a leader. What this will be happening is that
you're making an argument that India needs more political instability and not less.
Horse trading by
How can you make that argument? Your argument is that India should be politically unstable.
Pardon, sir?
Nikhil, what's your take?
Arnab, so I think the poll panel wasn't trying to figure out whether one nation, one election is a good idea, but probably how to do it. Because you're talking about the benefits of this move. I don't understand what the benefits are. I can count a number of disbenefits. One being that you'd have to increase the number of EVMs that you have in order to hold simultaneous elections, which is an added expenditure. You would have the force deployment would be the expenditure of the government on the force deployment certainly would be less. But the infrastructure that you require to hold two simultaneous elections, other than the security forces, is pretty much the double. You require double the strong rooms, you require double the machines, you require double the space, double the officers, right? Secondly, when you talk about a situation wherein if a government falls in the middle of the term in a state assembly, the proposal says that you will have elections for the remainder of the term. So that means right now when I elect my state assembly, when elections are held for the state assembly, it is generally for 5 years, but in this case a lot of times it will be for 2 years or 3 years. So the number of elections that are being
you're making an assumption that assemblies should be unstable.
What really
I mean,
is the
again,
benefit
you
of
are also
it,
making an
other than the fact
argument
that the
for
Prime Minister
instability.
would find it more convenient to campaign in the Hyderabad Municipal Corporation elections, the Telangana state elections and the Lok Sabha elections together. Other than the convenience of the Prime Minister, I can't really see any benefit to it. The voters will obviously be very confused on whether to vote on municipal issues, on state issues or on national issues. I see no benefit to the move.
Such a disorganized debate.
The question is the question is about cost. You know how much one general election costs? They say about 70,000 crores. I think it is actually more than 100,000 crores. And if within that colossal spending we can also elect all assemblies, we're saving tons of money which should be used for the poor people in this country. Sanju's turn.
About 7 to 8,000.
Sanju's turn.
Now,
Sanju's turn.
Thank you. You know, Arnab, Akashdeep Muni made an important point. Yes, the Keshav Bharti case says that the basic structure of the constitution cannot be changed. But the same case also says that, one nation, one election. In case there is a need to have that, you need to basically do three things. You need to make a change to Section 2 of the RPA Act of 1951. You need to make changes in the Lok Sabha procedure and conduct of business. And you need to carry out some structural changes in the manner in which model code of conduct is applied. Because don't forget, one nation, one election was applicable in India till 1967. And synchronized elections were applicable in India till 1959. In fact, it was in 1959 that Jawaharlal Nehru dismissed the Communist Party EMS Namboodiripad government, and after that, this whole saga of synchronized elections fell apart. So 1967 तक तो one nation, one election था. So it is not something that India is alien to. The second and important point is this, very quickly. There are two articles, Article 83 and 85, which I'm sure Nikhil is aware of the Constitution, which talk about the duration of Lok Sabha and how Lok Sabha can be dissolved. And then there are two articles, 172 and Article 174, which talk about how Vidhan Sabha can be dissolved and what should be the duration. All that the Keshav Bharti case says is, you have to amend Article 82, 85, 172 and 174 so that there is in the public domain clear knowledge about the duration of the Lok Sabha, duration of the state assemblies and the manner in which the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies can be dismissed or dissolved. Once these amendments are taken care of, one nation, one election can become a reality. So ये कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है जिसे लागू नहीं किया जा सकता. It is far simpler than implementing GST, which we successfully did by introducing GST on the 1st of July 2017. And today GST is a roaring success with monthly run rate of more than 1.6 lakh crore. लोग कहते थे अरे GST तो इंडिया में कभी successful.
No, I want on the earlier point, on the earlier point, you know what happens again. I have been saying this in television debates. People throw things like Keshavananda Bharti. You learn one line. You are not a good lawyer. You use it everywhere. Basic structure of constitution. The change in the tenure. I'm saying. No.
Arnab, are you for legalizing horse trading?
Let me speak.
By constructive vote of no confidence. This quote unquote, I'm quoting the law.
Let me speak. Article 368 of the Indian Constitution says that it lays down the parliamentary power and procedure for the amendment of the Constitution by the Indian Parliament. Now you tell me, if the government uses the constitutional authority to amend the constitution without changing the basic structure of the constitution for the sake of smooth elections, what is the problem? The federal structure remains unharmed. The basic structure remains unchanged. Article 83(2) and Article 172(1) are the ones which are laying the duration for the tenure of the House. What violates? What is the violation, Arko? Name one violation.
So until and unless there is a constitutional amendment,
tell me what is the benefit
all
of
this we are having is of no use. So I do not disagree with you that if a political party has majority in the country and can follow up and implement the amendment procedures in the constitution, they can amend. They can always amend, and I don't mind if that amendment comes in. But
no
the
wonder
amendment
TMC has no presence outside Bengal. क्योंकि इनके प्रवक्ता को कुछ आता जाता है ही नहीं.
Committee,
They abandon their basic common sense when they come for debates. That is what TMC is all about.
When there is no parliamentary
Party
session,
without common sense, party without
there
logic.
is no point until and unless there is a particular amendment in the constitution. There will be no use of getting this thing. What will happen to this entire exercise?
So let a constitutional amendment happen. The Modi government will carry out constitutional amendment. आपको क्या दिक्कत है? It will reduce administrative expenses. It will reduce the burden on the state
Then you
exchequer.
come up on the TV show and talk
Every
rubbish.
few months you will not have elections.
Talking rubbish.
You won't have, teachers from schools and colleges who have to go on election
Sanju,
duty
can you tell
every
me
few
if the
months.
panel report
The
has
security
looked into how much
apparatus,
expenditure it would
is
reduce
put on
or add?
Ladies and gentlemen,
You does not know all that.
We won't
We
have
are
all
okay
these
to speak
hassles.
rubbish.
So what's your big deal? What's your problem? What is
Anyway,
the problem
ladies and
if
gentlemen,
one nation, one election saves time, saves
The
money,
problem is
saves resources.
legalizing horse trade.
the headline of the day, the headline of the day for me, the headline of the day for me today is that it is not Adani.
The election
It is not.
commission
It's
putting
the
up
headline
data
of the
on
day
electoral
today
bonds.
is that it is
Which
not
is why the
the
report has to be
headline. The
submitted
headline
today.
of the day, the biggest headline of the day is that not Adani or Ambani or Tatas or Birlas who are the biggest political donors. It is Mega Engineering and some company called Future Gaming, who between the both of them seem to have given 2,500 crores or so in political funding. We'll have to find out what they do and who these companies are. I'm telling you, there's going to be so many detailed investigations on these two companies and what they do. I look forward to that, and I shall promise to see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, with the big stories and the news. Till tomorrow evening. Thank you for watching and being with me tonight. It's a pleasure and a privilege. Good night and goodbye.